Good morning to you, Dr. Zich. Hearing a
Good
lot
morning.
about peaks and everything, so people are interested. So let's talk about this. South Africa was one of the first places to discover the Omicron variant. I want to take a look at their numbers and take a look at these graphics that show exactly how that peak hit and how they saw this rapid decline. And a lot of people are saying that the same decline may soon happen in the U.S. So my question for you is, what can we learn from this? And when do you think the spread in the United States is going to slow down?
Sure. Well, we do look at other countries to try to predict what's going to happen here in America, and sometimes it's a very good correlation and sometimes it's not. But we're seeing similar numbers and similar peaks in the UK as well, so we think that this probably will follow. A little bit about those numbers. We've hit record highs of the reported numbers of COVID. To me, those numbers are only important in trying to monitor when they start downtrending. The actual number itself is virtually pointless. We know that about 40% of people are asymptomatic and won't get tested. And then a lot of people have very mild symptoms and aren't getting tested either. So the actual number is probably exponentially higher. But because it's mild, does that matter? We have to look at our hospitalization numbers. Unfortunately, hospitalization numbers are also at a record high. Now, some people will say, but people are getting admitted with COVID and not because of COVID. And that is largely true. I worked last week, and most of the people coming into the hospital were COVID positive, even if they didn't have COVID symptoms and being admitted for something else. But it is still significant because these COVID patients have to go to COVID units, and these units are expanding and crushing out the other abilities to care for people who are sick. So that should not be discounted. Finally, death numbers are at about 1,700. These are attributable directly to COVID. A misconception is that these numbers are people who died of any cause who had COVID. Not true. So COVID is still killing people, but this is half of the peak from last year. That was 3,400 a day. So that's coming down. We think our peak is going to happen sometime in the end of January. And by the end of February, we're going to be breathing a lot easier.
Okay, I want to talk to you about that. So what usually happens after the numbers start dropping? You say we're going to be breathing a lot easier. Are we going to see another peak in the spring? What can we expect in what we have seen from the past?
So trying to predict COVID is a little difficult. However, we feel in the absence of a major variant that there might be a little blip in the spring, but due to vaccination rates and the previous infections that have created immunity, in the short term, we're going to see a significant decline in COVID. Now, long term, if we don't get boosters, that may vary, but in the spring, I think we're going to probably see a very small peak at best.
Okay, I want to squeeze in two more questions, and I want to talk to you about what happens if you test positive in a rapid test, but your PCR comes back negative, because this has been happening to a lot of people. Are you still considered positive if you have symptoms, with one test
Sure.
saying one thing and one saying another?
Absolutely. The antigen test is not very sensitive, meaning 50 to 60% of the time it will be positive, but 40% to 50% it will be negative even when you have the disease. But it is fairly specific. So a false positive is very rare. If you test positive with the antigen test and negative with the PCR, you should still quarantine based on the start of your symptoms or that positive antigen test.
Okay, with so many people now getting COVID, many have not been boosted because they ended up getting COVID before they had the opportunity. So how long do you need to wait after your illness to get a booster?
This is a very common question. We used to say 90 days. Then that was shortened to a month. It turns out it doesn't significantly matter. And now they're saying as long as your symptoms are pretty much gone from the infection, you can get boosted. However, you're going to have significant immunity for 1 to 2 months. So I tell people after you're better, within 4 to 8 weeks, I recommend getting your booster.
Okay, good to know. And finally, news that Pfizer coming out with that specific Omicron vaccine. What does that mean for consumers with all the new variants? Are we going to have to start having new vaccines specific to every variant every few months? I mean, that seems a little ridiculous.
Right. There's a lot of questions as to the utility of this particular Omicron-specific vaccine, simply because the majority of people are ending up getting the actual virus itself. I guess time will tell to see if that's actually necessary or not.
Okay, Dr. David Zich, as always, we appreciate your insight. Have a great day.
Thank you.